Picture your iPhone as a safe. It's got your photos, your messages, your backups, all inside. It's locked tight with a combo only you know. Not even Apple can crack it. Pretty solid, right? Well, in the UK, the government just forced that safe open. And here's the real jolt. It's not just their problem over in the UK. It's a warning for us all. So stick with me here. I'm gonna unpack what's happening, why it's big, and how you can stay in control. Speaking of control, if you're a doer, I've got something for you. Saturday Signals upgrades your brain. Sharp insights for doers, not dreamers. Saturday Signals is like a software upgrade for your brain. It's free. If you want in, it's linked up down below. Sign up to level up. So here's what went down with Apple. They had a feature called Advanced Data Protection, or ADP for short. It was always optional, but if you turned it on, then it would lock your iCloud data down. Apple couldn't get in, hackers couldn't, nobody could. And that started in 2022. It was a win for everybody who cared about privacy. But then the UK government stepped in with their Investigatory Powers Act. It's a real law, it's not a conspiracy, and they demanded access. And essentially they told Apple either build a backdoor or kill ADP for UK users. And Apple picked the second choice, no backdoor, they just dropped it. As of February 2025, UK Apple users' data is not fully secure anymore. Apple can access it, and the government can request it with a warrant. And Apple's own statement called it gravely disappointing. They didn't want this. Now, this isn't just a UK headache. It's about your privacy wherever you are, because big companies like Apple can still get pushed around by the government. And the UK isn't alone here. This is a global thing. If you're in the US, you might be familiar with the Patriot Act. It doesn't go quite this far, but it's not like historically the US hasn't pursued these things in the past. And in China, Apple already plays nice with the government there, meaning they follow local rules in order to have access to that market, meaning the UK law, as extreme as it is one flavor of this trend around the world. Apple users have a reason to be buzzing about this because this could spread to more places and more safes, so to speak, could be getting cracked. And this really isn't about Apple necessarily being weak or evil. It's just about reality hitting hard. Even the biggest players aren't able to just fight the system alone, and that means we've got to look out for ourselves. Now, Apple's got a whole website dedicated to privacy. They say privacy is a fundamental human right. It's one of their core values. And you might remember Apple's ads such as what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. So even though Apple didn't go looking for this, it's not going to be a good look since they've made privacy such a big part of their brand. And that leaves some users frustrated. They're saying they counted on Apple to keep their data locked. And some people are very understanding and they're like, Apple's not a superhero, laws are laws. And other people are like, hey, maybe Apple was just blustering this whole time. And I definitely get that the Investigatory Powers Act isn't optional, but that doesn't mean that UK users' data isn't more exposed now. That's the catch. And for everyone who's like, hey, this is just a UK thing, it really isn't, because governments borrow ideas. That's how they roll. They're always watching each other. And then I know we're gonna see some ridiculous comments like, well, if you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be worried about it. But this isn't about hiding. It's about who has a say in your life. It's a free speech thing also. And honestly, I'm not trying to be on anybody's side here other than your side, because your side is my side. We're all on the same side. And now I want to talk about what can you do about this? Well, regardless of marketing, the first thing you should do is understand privacy is not a given. Governments can shift the rules anytime. And even a company as big as Apple has to bend when the pressure's on. So what can you do about it? Well, the first thing you gotta do is know the laws. So just do a quick search, do some deep research using something like Grok, very cost effective, better than Googling, and you'll figure out exactly what the rules are where you live. Second, you wanna lock stuff down. So if you need to grab a VPN, maybe something like Proton VPN, that could be a good start. Or again, if you need some encrypted storage, you might look at something like Proton Drive as a solid option. Just keep in mind, not every tool is legit. Maybe I'll link some up for you down below. But you want to do your research. Make sure you're dealing with something that's solid and not a backdoor itself. So you might want to cut the cord there. Apple does a better job than most, to be honest. But just remember, Apple's not your privacy shield. They can't be, really, at the end of the day. You are, and that's the key. Now, this UK news is today's headline. That's what's grabbing attention. But privacy battles are endless. They don't just stop here. So if it matters to you, then don't wait for somebody else to save it. Step up, stay smart, stay in charge. That's how you deal with something like this. And by the way, I will just say, a lot of people are so fired up about this. They're like, Apple should have just exited this market. Well, at the end of the day, Apple wants to make money. They want access to these markets. That represents a lot of iPhones and Macs and different sorts of gadgets and services and subscriptions sold. So when it comes to these sorts of moral issues, don't ever bet on a company to do something that's not going to be in the interest of the shareholders ultimately. So I'd love to know your take. Did you even know about this? A. B, is it something that you care about? Are you going to try to mitigate it? Are you just going to let things play out because you figure hey, Apple's probably better than other companies, and we've been trading our data for all these years. I don't really care at this point. But let me know. I think there's a bigger, more interesting conversation to be had here. And by the way, I think this is a good opportunity for everyone to reassess their relationship with technology and how their data is treated, right? Both at the government level and the company level, device level. I will just mention, if you're not familiar with my new course, My AI Edge, you should check it out, because whether you love AI or hate AI, it's going to bring some disruption and also lots of opportunities. And this course is all about looking at the big picture and helping you figure things out. If you want to invest in your future and make sure that you're prepared, that's what it's really about. It's an evergreen course, so it's never not going to be useful. I've already started updating it. Once again, don't forget to check out Saturday Signals. I really think it's going to be the most interesting and useful thing you're going to encounter all week. That's just my opinion, but you wouldn't know unless you checked it out. Check it out. It's linked up down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.